All right, peace and blessings, everyone. This is our brother Samuel. Right before me is a book by Dan Calloway, Tracing Your Family's Genealogical History by Record, Step by Step, Instructional Guide to Trace Your Family Native Tribe. Now, recently, I came across Dan Calloway YouTube channel probably about a week ago. I guess it would be 2 weeks now. And okay, so like I was saying, I ran across this brother's YouTube page probably about 2 weeks ago, and Dan Calloway, and I recently ordered the book off of Amazon, and got the book today, and just started reading the first two chapters. I read the reviews off of Amazon, and it was saying that the ebook is not too good because it's missing certain links, and the editing is not too good. So people advise you just to buy the book. And when you go to Dan Calloway, and basically his page is called "I'm Just Here to Make You Think." When you go to his page, his YouTube channel, and he has a Patreon. He's going to tell you everything that he has so that you can support and get more information. But this is really for African Americans, so-called black people, for them to research their lineage here in Americas, and just basically help us to get documented records instead of just taking for face value what we was taught in the public school system. I'm from South Carolina, born and raised, and very close to the PD River. So I was basically taught by my grandmother and told by my grandmother and my family that on my mother's side, which is my maternal family, that we have Native Americans or Indians as great parents, as great grandparents. So, I know, but just from being told that, and then I have other family members of my maternal side have Native American lineage in North Carolina, and my hometown is not very far from North Carolina, so it's very close. And so supposedly it's supposed to be the Cherokee tribe. So Cherokee tribes or nation is pretty large. There's only two actual federal recognized tribes out of South Carolina and North Carolina. There's none recognized out of Georgia, but the Cherokee Nation is a part of North Carolina and South Carolina. So, but of course there were other tribes, but they may not be federally recognized. But if they are federally recognized, and you can, and I trace my history and my lineage through documents, then I could actually be a part of those federal recognized nations. So, or tribes, excuse me. So that would, tie my family a part of that tribe or that nation or that federal government or federal recognized tribe. And then, I would receive those benefits. So it is important that you, if you're African American and you even been told this from out of being in the Southeast or being out of the Northeast or even the Midwest or California, it's very important that you go and trace this history, because this ties you to those federal recognized tribes of the United States. And it tears off this these lies that was taught to us in public school, and basically telling us that we were from Africa, when in actuality we were from the United States. Before it was called the United States, or before it was established as the United States, Turtle Island, North America, Central America, and South America. Now, speaking of North America and South America, because people are going to talk about Atlantis, and they believe Atlantis in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. From Kabbalah standpoint, or Hebrew Kabbalah, North and South America did not show up until long after. Okay, long after Asia and Africa. So, in Australia, okay, Australia also. Those are the only three continents at the time. It was one landmass in the beginning of life on the planet, but through the civilizations, especially during the civilization of just so-called black people across the whole planet, there were only three continents, and it was Australia, Africa, and Asia. So that also would include Europe, but Europe would be more a part of North Africa and also Asia, because Europe doesn't break off from anywhere except from the so-called Mediterranean, separating that from that landmass from Africa. So that actually could be North Africa. I've traveled and I've been through the Strait of Gibraltar, and you can actually see these areas. You can see these landmass are not very far apart. I've been up across the Atlantic, but I have not been across the Pacific Ocean. I didn't stay in the military long enough in the U.S. Navy to actually get to the Pacific. But if there was Atlantis, it would probably be more in the Pacific Ocean. Now, there are also records or states that there's the land of Mu. Yeah, so there's the land of Mu. But North and South America is two continents that showed up later. So they showed up later. The Elohims pulled up this landmass. Nothing went into the water. It was pulled up from the waters. So here we are. So that lets you know that just from Hebrew Kabbalah, that this landmass, North and South America, has a different type of people over here. Okay, that we're different. We're different people. Not that we may not have so-called lineage, but it's just the Elohims put different people on different parts of the landmass, so they are going to be different. Africa is different from the Americas. Actually, tobacco is only grown in the Americas, okay, which is why tobacco was used by the Native Americans. It's just different. The landmass is different, all right? Asia is different from Africa. Europe is different from Africa. North Africa is different from South Africa. It's just what it is. But Africa landmass altogether is just what it is. So you're going to develop different type of people. And also in Hebrew Kabbalah, from my teacher, Nunoo, there were more than one Garden of Eden. There were Garden Edens across the whole planet, and they equal up to 12. So that means there's more than one Adam and Eve. There was more than one Adam and Eve, which is the development of the human race. Okay, so just from Kabbalah standpoint, you're gonna have different phenotypes of human beings. So this lie that was created, and like I said, go to Dane Calloway page. I'm just here to make you think. And it explains why the Aborigines of America are different from the Aborigines of Africa. The Aborigines of Australia are different from the Aborigines of Africa and America. The Aborigines of Asia are different from the Aborigines of Africa. Okay? So this whole Pan-African, this whole we all from Egypt, it's just some made up stories. by foreigners, and most of those foreigners were from the European countries, and it was to their benefit. So, you know, once you, like I said, I just looked over this brother video for 2 weeks, and I can't deny what I was told by my grandparents. And once I finish my research, I can't deny what I researched. So if you're interested and you're African American, you one of my channel subscribers, go ahead and get this brother book and check out his channel. You know, question what you've been told in school. You know, I was an avid like history researcher, and also I love geography. I loved it all through public school. So, you know, obviously I wanted to know. So obviously I'm here. Also, what I did recently was an ancestral cleanse, spiritual cleanse. And I think that's one of the reasons why I've been led back to this knowledge. And also, as I've stated before, I live right down the street where the Trail of Tears started. Okay, where the government of Georgia told the Native Americans or the Indians or the Aborigines of this land to leave, go to Oklahoma. Either you leave by choice or we're going to force you to leave. And that's where the Trail of Tears all started. And there was a whole bunch of wars going on. Nobody agreed with it. So this whole thing about, you know, we all agree with slavery and all this stuff and blah, 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 blah. It's all lies. So do your research, check the book out, check out the brother Dane Calloway page. And yeah, we just keep unfolding this story. In our story, because we already got his story, so it's now it's time to get our story. So peace and blessings, everyone.